If you've ever watched survival content and thought, that looks cool, but would it really keep someone alive? This video is for you. Cold weather doesn't need snowstorms or Arctic winds to kill you. Temperatures hovering just below freezing are more than enough to drain your core heat, rob your strength, and put you into hypothermia before morning. That's the danger zone most people underestimate, and it's exactly where history, warfare, and real survival intersect. Tonight, we're breaking down how people have stayed alive in these conditions using minimal gear, real terrain, and common sense instead of, fantasy bushcraft. Before we get into it, do me a favor. If you appreciate real survival history, no-nonsense fieldcraft, and practical lessons pulled straight from reality, hit that like button, share this with someone who actually goes outdoors, drop a comment with your experience, and subscribe to WARFRONT Survival. That support is what keeps this channel focused on facts instead of fluff. Now, let's get into the material that actually matters. Cold weather kills quietly, and it always starts at the ground. The first mistake people make in cold environments is thinking air temperature is the main threat. It isn't. The ground will pull heat out of your body faster than almost anything else through conduction. Armies learned this the hard way, long before modern sleeping pads existed. From Roman legionaries bedding down on pine boughs to World War II infantry stuffing straw under their greatcoats, the lesson was always the same. Get off the ground or freeze. A thin emergency blanket shelter means nothing if your body is pressed directly against wet earth. Even with a pad, adding dead grass, leaves or pine needles underneath drastically increases insulation. This isn't comfort, it's survival physics. When your weight compresses that material, what remains is trapped air, and trapped air is warmth. Without it, your core temperature drops all night long, whether you notice it or not. Low shelters win every time in cold conditions. Height feels comfortable, but it is the enemy of warmth. A low shelter traps heat, blocks wind, and concentrates warmth where your body actually is. This is why historical cold weather shelters were always cramped. Foxholes, snow trenches, lean-tos, and pup tents were never designed for convenience. They were designed to keep men alive long enough to see morning. A diamond or plough-style tarp configuration works because it creates a wide, low-heat pocket while allowing you to stay close to the fire. The closer the shelter sits to the ground, the wider the coverage becomes. Raise it too high and you lose heat out the sides. Keep it low and that warmth circulates back toward your body instead of disappearing into the night air. Fire placement matters more than fire size. Most people think bigger fire equals more warmth. That's only half true. Fire placement determines whether the heat actually reaches you. A fire directly in front of a reflective shelter sends heat onto your body, warms your clothing layers, and then heats the shelter material itself. That creates a triple heat effect. Heat to the body, heat reflected back, and heat trapped overhead. Historically, long fires were favoured by armies and frontiersmen because they allowed full-body exposure. But with reflective materials, a smaller controlled fire can be just as effective while conserving fuel. Once a coal bed forms, spreading it into a longer shape gives sustained heat throughout the night. This method was used everywhere from early American frontier camps to modern military survival training for a reason. It works. There's a popular idea floating around survival culture that you should never cut cordage, that everything must be retrievable or reversible. In reality, Cordage exists to be used. Historically, rope, leather thongs and twine were constantly cut, retied and repurposed. Soldiers didn't die because they lost 6 inches of cord. They died because they failed to prioritize warmth, shelter and fire. If a foot of cordage determines your survival, the issue isn't the cord, it's the kit and the training behind it. Cordage can be rejoined. Fishermen's knots, sheet bends and splices have existed for centuries for exactly this reason. What cannot be replaced is lost body heat at 3 in the morning when the fire dies down and the wind shifts. Reflective materials are tools, not magic. Emergency blankets and reflective tarps are not miracle devices. They don't create heat. They redirect it. Used correctly, they amplify a fire's effectiveness dramatically. Used incorrectly, they do almost nothing. Facing the reflective surface toward the fire and the body is what matters. Colour, branding or marketing claims do not. Historical armies didn't have mylar, but they understood reflection. Snow walls, earth berms, and even stacked logs were used to bounce heat back towards sleeping positions. The principle is ancient. Modern materials simply make it lighter and faster to deploy. Why simple shelters beat complex designs every time? In cold conditions, complexity kills time, and time kills warmth. Simple shelters go up faster, require less movement, and conserve calories. Every minute spent fiddling with knots or chasing perfection is a minute of heat loss. The goal isn't beauty or symmetry. The goal is staying alive until morning. This mindset mirrors real historical survival, not staged demonstrations. Soldiers, explorers and frontiersmen all favoured shelters they could build in minutes, not hours. Speed and function always beat elegance. Cold weather survival is not about gear lists or social media tricks. It's about understanding heat, terrain and time. Get off the ground. Stay low. Place your fire correctly. Use your materials without fear of wasting them. These lessons are written in history, paid for in blood, and still apply today. If you found value in this breakdown, subscribe to WARFRONT Survival. Share this video with someone who spends time outdoors, and leave a comment with what cold weather lessons you've learned the hard way. The more this channel grows, the more real, experience-based survival history we bring to you. Stay sharp, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one.